Nicki Minaj is one of the greatest rappers of all time. Everyone knows that. That's a fact. But I think I have a more controversial take. Not only is Nicki one of the greatest rappers of all time, I think she's also one of the greatest pop stars of all time, and I think she's the best rapper to ever do pop. I mean, you've heard PopNika before. We all know Starships were meant to fly and that you've got that super bass. Most of us here probably first heard of Nicki because of her more pop records. And even though Nicki doesn't acknowledge this part of her discography that often, no one, not even her, can deny the fact that her pop music had that special something, that magic in it, that everyone knows about but can't place their finger as to what and why that is. Well, let's place our finger in it and talk about why Nicki Minaj and pop work so well together. Before Nicki Minaj went mainstream, she had a very distinctly underground hip-hop sound. Especially in her earlier music, her flows and ways of rapping more so resembled Foxy Brown's way of rapping, as Nicki was still trying to find herself musically at the time. But as she progressed from mixtape to mixtape, Nicki developed her own way of rapping that was more in tune with that time's rap music sensibilities, while still building the foundation of the energy and style of the Nicki we know today. She started doing more crossover songs with pop appeal. Songs like Jump Off, Lollipop Remix, Itty Bitty Piggy, and I Get Crazy, Nicki 2007 style, she was still able to showcase her ability to appeal to the mainstream sound. And in 2010, she was able to successfully move from her underground rapper status to global icon. Massive Attack, her debut single and the intended lead single to Pink Friday, was a very explosive fusion of hip-hop and dance with a sort of futuristic sound. MTV News describes the song as a chaotic beat with a screechy Euro club synth compared to Timbaland. They also point out how Nicki uses pop culture references in the song, like E.T., Mr. Miyagi, The Phantom of the Opera, and Simba and Mufasa of the Lion King film in her lines. Reviews on the song were mixed, with Billboard stating that Nicki being one of the most visually distinctive rappers to come along in years. The single was an anticlimactic coming out song, but they still praised Nicki's humor and sassy one-liners in the song. Commercially, the song also didn't do well, charting on the US Hot R&B hip-hop songs at number 65 and the bubbling under Hot 100 at number 22. Though the song isn't really pop per se, there was still a lot of pop elements and crossover appeal in the single. I think Massive Attack's biggest hurdle was that it was just released too early, considering that another single that referenced the song shares a lot of similarities to it and even contains a Nicki shoutout was a hit. Yeah, Get Into It, yeah, was a hit. Though this was a setback for Nicki, she was still determined to push for her career. Your Love was a song Nicki recorded around 2008 and it leaked online. Unsurprisingly, people fell in love with the song to the point that even radio was playing the unmixed and original version. This prompted Nicki to finish the song and release it to radio, and it became her biggest solo single to date, becoming her first entry as a solo artist on the Hot 100, debuting at number 54 and reaching a peak of number 14 on the charts, eventually leading to this being titled as a lead single to her debut album, Pink Friday. Not only did this single cement Nicki Minaj as a commercially viable artist outside of her features, this also became the starting point of sorts of PopNika, as this song is undeniably pop, and dare I say, pop perfection. It samples Annie Lennox's 1995 cover version of the song No More I Love Yous. It's the and the song uses it to greatness. She perfectly blends pop with her rapping style and humor and knack for references. Critical reception on this song was positive, and the fact that it was the lead single to Pink Friday kind of pointed people to the direction that Pink Friday will take. And it did, because Pink Friday as an album is a perfect blend of pop music and hip-hop. It's a bubblegum pop rap album. The Boston Globe called it a brash pop album brimming with Minaj's various persona and technicolor rhymes. The Washington Post wrote that the album nibbles at the edges of what female rappers are allowed to do, even as it provides a steady helping of pop hits. This album really was such a revolutionary album for female rap. Not only did it propel Nicki into worldwide fame, it expanded the constraints that previously contained female rap and female rappers. Singles like Check It Out, Moment for Life, and Fly really encompassed Nicki's ability to mix her rapping abilities and the hip-hop genre with pop sensibilities and the pop genre. Though these songs are clearly inspired by pop beats, Nicki never forgets her ability and role as a rapper, still weaving in rap verses that contain the Nicki Minaj essence of humor, witty punchline, and bars. The bars are still there. And Pink Friday is not just a pop album. It still contains a lot of hip-hop and rap songs. Songs like Roman's Revenge and Did It On Him shows that Nicki's still a rapper first and foremost before a pop star. And of course, we can't talk about Pink Friday and Nicki's pop music without talking about Super Bass. Come on, we all know Super Bass by now. A track on the deluxe version of Pink Friday, Super Bass is just pop perfection and pop rap perfection. Her opening verse of Super Bass is probably one of the most known rap verses of all time. Like, come on, this one is for the boys with a boom system, top down AC with a cool system. You can clearly hear her ability as a rapper, her enunciation, the way you can clearly understand every single syllable that comes out of her mouth, and then that infectious pop hook. Just to put into perspective of how big this song is, it was placed by Billboard at number 13 on their list of the 500 best pop songs of all time. This song is really that bitch. Pink Friday really had a lot of weight for Nicki, as this was her chance to prove her commercial appeal. If she has the ability to go mainstream, it was the start of her reign, and if it wasn't handled right, we probably wouldn't have Nicki Minaj today. Luckily, she hit it out of the park. Now that she has proven herself as a formidable opponent on the charts and the music industry, for her next album she was a bit more carefree in her approach, more free to experiment and just have fun. And you can clearly hear it in the lead single for her next album, Pink Friday Roman Reloaded, which is Starships. Starships is one of Nicki's signature songs. It's a dance electro pop song true and true, with rap verses woven into it. Even with the choice of the producer for this song, Red One, who's a frequent collaborator of Lady Gaga with songs like Poker Face and Just Dance, this song is just unapologetically pop. Compare this to Pink Friday singles, which really toe the line between pop and rap. This song doesn't try to be anything other than a summer smash hit, and we know how it went. This song smashed the world. It's one of 2010's defining songs. Like, if you think of 2010's music, Starships is one of the songs you'll likely think of. It debuted at number 9 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and spent a total of 21 consecutive weeks in the top 10. In contrast to its successful chart success, critical and public reception to the song was mixed. Though some praised it for its production and pop appeal, a majority of the critics denounced it as a cash grab for Nicki, with some even labeling Nicki as a sellout. Los Angeles Times wrote that the new single will undoubtedly divide Minaj's fan base. Longtime fans may want the cypher queen they fell in love with when she was young and hungry on the mixtape circuit, while her newer sugar pop loving delegation will likely crave the quirkier verses and the cotton candy colored wigs of today's Minaj. Another review said Starships is a solid outing for Nicki Minaj. However, the day-glow pop rap success of Super Bass, emotional power of Fly, and the experimentation of her Grammys award performance has left us expecting Nicki Minaj to push boundaries. Starships feels a bit like retreating into a musical pocket and trying a little too hard to ensure another pop chart hit. This result is pleasurable but not particularly memorable, and the Barbs and the general public also felt the same. A lot of OG Barbs didn't like the direction Nicki was going into, wanting the more hip-hop Nicki they grew up with, and this all culminated at the Hot 97 Summer Jam 2012, wherein Peter Rosenberg, one of Hot 97's morning hosts, said, "I see the real hip-hop heads sprinkled in here. I see them. I know there are some chicks here waiting to sing Starships later. I'm not talking to y'all right now. I'm here to talk about real hip-hop." He also previously derided Starships as the most sellout song in hip-hop history. This led to Lil Wayne convincing Nicki to back out of the festival, wherein she was supposed to perform at. The stupidity, honestly, of badmouthing one of your performers, probably one of the reasons a lot of people even bought tickets to your festivals hours before she was supposed to perform, is just, what was he even thinking? And it's not like Pink Friday Roman Reloaded didn't have hip-hop songs in it to please the fans and people that liked it. The album had Bees in the Trap, I'm Your Leader, Come on a Cone, and Roman Reloaded. In fact, when the album was released, in the album there was a clear divide between both the pop songs and the rap side of the album. There was a mixture of both genres in there. But unlike in Pink Friday, wherein the tracks had more of a blend of both, this album really decides which song is going pop and which song is not. If she's gonna go dance and electro pop, she's fully going into it. If she's going to go more hip hop, she's going to go there 100%. However, for a lot of people, it just didn't work. A lot of people have said that the more pop side of the album overshadows a lot of the hip hop tracks, and I tend to agree with them. The pop side of the album sees Nicki explore and fully delve into the dance and electro pop sound. Songs like Vava Voom, Pound the Alarm, Whip It, and Automatic showcase Nicki's pop peak. She has developed this formula for her pop songs: infectious and explosive hooks, sandwiched by rap verses. Sometimes all the verses are rap verses like in Vava Voom, and sometimes it's one rap verse and one singing verse as seen in Pound the Alarm. Vava Voom is probably my favorite Nicki pop song because it really is the best of both worlds for Nicki. Her rap verses there when she was rapping in a fast pace, followed by that incredible hook. The fact that Vava Voom was actually supposed to be the lead single for Pink Friday Roman Reloaded shows its potential, and it really deserved more. I'd say it even deserved Starship success. And we also have to talk about the starting track of this album, Roman Holiday. This is the most camp Nicki song of all time, and I will fight anyone to death if you speak ill of Roman Holiday. They can never make me hate you, Roman Holiday. The album nowadays has seen a cult following, and people grew to like the album more. It's actually now, other than Pink Friday 2, Nicki's most streamed album, and Starship is currently her second most streamed song every day. The album's mixed reception and criticism towards Nicki's exploration of the pop sound seems like it got to Nicki, as when the re-up version of Roman Reloaded came, the songs were significantly more hip-hop centered. This coincides with a change in her aesthetic from her 2010 to 2012 bubblegum Harajuku eccentric style to a more hip-hop inspired look, and donning a blonde with dark roots hairstyle, in contrast to her colorful wigs. She said in an interview about her sophomore album, "I wanted to experiment. My whole career has been a playing field for me to try new things. I never put on a limit on myself, and I don't like when especially black women put a limit on what they can do." But she also stated that, if I really wanted to right now, I could go back in and make another pop song like Starships to sell, and I'm choosing not to do it. I'm choosing to get back to my essence and just feed the core hip-hop fan. That seemed to be the direction Nicki was heading into. Though she still stands firm in her pop music, she's now choosing to go back to what made her so popular in the first place, and this can absolutely be seen in her third album, The Pinkprint. Though the lead single, Pills and Potions, was another pop rap song, it was different from her electro pop songs, as this was a more contemplative pop song, and the rap verses really took the front seat here, with a catchy hook just there to complement the song. The album as a whole is undeniably a hip-hop album, with some pop songs sprinkled in there. But even when she was doing pop songs, it was more subdued, and it didn't overshadow the hip-hop core of the album. Songs like Get on Your Knees, Pills and Potions, and The Night Is Still Young was able to mix in pop in a way that didn't dominate its hip-hop relatives on the tracklist. The Night Is Still Young is probably the most pop of all the songs in the Pinkprint, and it's a top-tier Nicki pop song by the way, but it didn't define the album the way Roman Reloaded's pop songs did for itself. She was able to find a mixture of both that kept her rap core at the front. Anaconda is another pop song on the Pinkprint album, and I'm saying pop with the quotation marks because it really reads more to me as a rap song than a pop song, but it does have a lot of pop sensibilities in it. It was the most successful single on the album, and it became her highest charting single at the time. It is, however, a significant step back from her more popular singles as it really leaned more into rap. This is another song that polarized a lot of people, more so for its explicit content than its pop-like sound. I think it's sonically Nicki's worst top 10 solo single, comparing it to Starships, Super Bass, Chun-Li, and Super Freaky Girl, but Nicki was still doing pop songs on the side as a featured artist, so it never went away. This album is considered by most people to be Nicki's magnum opus, and I can see why. It's her most personal album to date, and it showed another side of Nicki. Her aesthetic also changed. It was more laid back. Done are the colorful wigs and the Harajuku styled outfits, and it leaned more into strip style that was more chic. She completely reinvented herself while still keeping what made Nicki Minaj, Nicki Minaj. In 2017, the hate train towards Nicki Minaj started after Sheether by Remy Ma was released. Despite the critical reception towards her second album, no one really questioned Nicki's spot as a top female rapper, as the queen of rap, until 2017 onwards. Now, her title as the queen of rap is being thoroughly questioned, followed by an abundance of hate towards anything she does. And with the rise of other female rappers like Cardi B, Nicki knew that this was a breaking point. Was she gonna be able to keep her crown? As a response to all of the hate towards her, she released Queen, her fourth studio album. Queen as an album is Nicki's reaction towards the hate train. She wanted to prove that she was still the queen and that no one is taking her spot. This meant that her more pop-centric style would take a significant back seat as she was proving her spot in hip-hop. The most pop song and probably the only pop song in Queen was Bed, featuring Ariana Grande. It followed the Nicki pop song formula of rapping verses with a catchy hook. She shows that she still has what it takes to create a pop song. She just chooses not to. We also have to note that in 2018, when the album was released, hip-hop was a dominating genre and pop music was more of a secondary genre to the charts. In fact, Ariana Grande was probably the only pop girl at the time that was able to produce numbers for pop music. Queen is her most cohesive album to date, though some claim that it's her worst album. Unlike Roman Reloaded, wherein the pop music overshadowed, Queen was overshadowed by the hate, and it was the worst time to be a Nicki fan. Wait, I haven't even talked about her features. Popstars love featuring rappers on their pop song to add a bit more edge to it and make it appeal to as much people as possible. Nicki Minaj is no stranger to this, injecting her musicality to features such as Side to Side, Bang Bang, Beauty and the Beat, Say So, and more recently Alone. I think what separates Nicki and kind of goes against her in her favor in the conversation of Nicki's pop music is that whilst other rappers feature on other songs and mostly kind of disappear to the song, Nicki stands out in her verses. She's well known for a lot of her features, and it helped with the association of Nicki and pop. Over the years, Nicki has grown a distaste for her pop music, stating in multiple tweets, and Starships is the song that I had to do the most damage control for afterwards. Y'all have very selective memory, but trust and believe, Chun not about to let y'all play with her. Bet that. Just say you mentioning Starships because it was an instant smash hit and go. Stayed in the top 10 for like 20 weeks or something. If you a fan, you'd know that that was experimental for me, not who I am at my core as an artist. Ew. They watered this shit down and mindfucked y'all bad. They better go check out the mixtapes because that's who the fuck Nicki Minaj is. This is the tweet. She also said this in an interview with Irving Azoff back in 2020.
So much of my discography. I wish I never recorded Anaconda. I like the video, but I wish, this is my first ever solo song on Billboard was Your Love. To this day, I like the video, but I hate the song. I can go on and on. I hate Starships. I mean, like, Starships, I'm in the fly. I was like, why did I do that? Like, I really think that every time I hear it.
Nicki has been going back and forth with whether she loves her pop songs or not. One day she's praising her pop songs and the other she's disparaging them. As we anticipated the arrival of her sequel to Pink Friday 2, a lot of people wondered whether we're going to see PopNika or not. Pink Friday was an album defined by its exploration of the pop rap sound and how Nicki was able to blend both so seamlessly. She released a couple of singles before the actual rollout of the album began. Do We Have a Problem, Bussin', We Go Up. All of these singles leaned more into the rap side of Nicki. However, Nicki did state that these were her street singles before she released her actual single. And the actual single came after she teased and released a month later, Super Freaky Girl. This song was a coming back to Nicki of some sorts. This was her big comeback on the charts as it debuted at #1 on the Hot 100, becoming her first solo #1 hit, and then staying on the top 10 for quite some time. This also saw Nicki go back to a more pop sound. Though Super Freaky Girl is clearly a rap song as it doesn't feature Nicki singing, this does contain pop sensibilities in it, and it was a hit. She found a way to mix both pop and rap seamlessly back again, akin to her first album. The genre of Super Freaky Girl actually caused some commotion when it was revealed that Super Freaky Girl was removed from the rap categories at the Grammys and placed into the pop categories, there became a debate of whether the song was pop or rap. I believe that the song is a rap song, and the Grammys decision was based more on politics than anything, because they knew Super Freaky Girl would have crushed it in the rap categories. So they placed it in the pop category wherein more stronger contenders are seen. She released Red Ruby Deceased afterwards, which was a more rap single, and then Last Time I Saw You. Last Time I Saw You is an undeniable pop song similar to Pills and Potions, wherein it was a more retrospective song. I think its message and more mellow tone and beat kind of shielded it from the previous criticism towards her pop music. Last Time I Saw You is honestly top 5 for me on Pink Friday 2. It's such a good song. I love when Nicki is more contemplative and strips down her persona as Nicki Minaj and lets us see Onika Tanya Mirage. Pink Friday 2 was released shortly afterwards, and just like the title suggests, it really sees Nicki go back to her Pink Friday roots. It was a perfect mixture of both rap, R&B, and pop, but something more sensible to the current landscape of music. Songs like Cowgirl and Pink Friday Girls shows that Nicki isn't afraid anymore of her pop star persona. It seems like she has come to terms with her pop past and integrated it back into Nicki Minaj. Obviously, her being a rapper still takes center stage, but she doesn't hide her popness anymore. Even with the production of the entire album, it leaned more into the bubblegum beats of Pink Friday. I think what made Nicki so great at doing pop is her charisma. A lot of rappers in general doesn't have the charisma that Nicki has to create pop the way she does. Her knack for humor, her playfulness, and memorable one-liners pushes her pop songs to new levels. Nicki is also just a versatile artist. She can do it all honestly, and she can ride nearly any beat to perfection. She also mastered the pop rap formula to T, and is now being used by other artists to create their own pop records, with varying degrees of success. Nicki Minaj has a complicated relationship with her pop music. What was once something that she did to experiment and expand what female rappers can do was turned against her, and people use it to discredit her abilities as a rapper. I think we need to make one thing clear for everyone. Nicki Minaj is a rapper first and foremost. Her roots can be seen on the underground rap scene, and her delving into pop was something she did to compete with the charts and to also develop her sound. But instead, people started associating Nicki with her pop music more than her rap music. Her identity became so closely tied to pop music when she felt like it wasn't her at her core. This is why I understand where Nicki is coming from when she says she doesn't like her pop music. She probably grew trauma from all the harsh criticism she received for trying to explore new sounds. But I think what Nicki Minaj should have realized then is that PopNika, though it's not her entire music identity, it's a facet of who she is, and it's the reason why she grew to a worldwide superstar. Her attempts to stay away from the pop identity showcase to everyone that she is more than a capable rapper, that she is the queen of rap. Queen and the Pinkprint did that. She doesn't need to run away from it anymore. Even if they don't want to admit it, everyone knows that Nicki is one of the most skilled rappers of our generation and the best female rapper of all time. I think another thing to note is that in the conversation of Nicki and pop music, people often relate pop with selling out and being mainstream. Nicki stated that when she did pop, it was experimental for her, and it was. Her sound before she became mainstream was very hip-hop. Her doing pop was something out of the ordinary for her, and I think people should let female rappers explore genres other than hip-hop without the fear of being called a sellout. With her current tour, the Gag City World Tour, she doesn't shy away from her pop songs anymore, proudly singing Anaconda, Super Bass, Starships, Pink Friday Girls, Cowgirl. It seems like now, Nicki has finally embraced her pop self. She is Nicki Minaj, the queen of rap and a pop star. She realized that either titles doesn't negate the other one. She's everything everywhere all at once. She's Nicki Minaj. Whether she does pop or rap, what doesn't go away is the talent that she has, and that talent is what makes her the rap pop star and the queen of rap. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Check out my channel. I have a lot of Nicki content, and I'm planning to release more pop culture centric videos, not just Nicki, but there's still gonna be a lot of Nicki content because that's mother. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna be releasing Nicki v Drake soon, and also I'm planning to release a female rap video, an overall female rap video, overview video that just looks at female rap as a whole. So I think that's gonna be one of my biggest videos to date. It's gonna be one of my longest videos to date, so watch out for that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and goodbye.